our postseason is as bad as there is, and we have got to figure out a system that opens up opportunities. Like right now, let's just say the season ends January 12th. I can already tell you, 2021, Ohio State's coming out of the Big Ten, Clemson's coming out of the ACC, Alabama's coming out of the SEC. In 2021, I can tell you 2023, Ohio State's coming out of the Big Ten, Clemson's coming out of the ACC, Alabama's coming out. It's like, who's the fourth team? Is Oklahoma going to come out of the Big 12?
If a team like, let's just say USC, finishes 7-0, and some team in the SEC winds up 8-1 or something like that, how should the College Football Playoff Committee deal with that conundrum?
Well, so you're for the playoff expansion now?
I'm for it now because I think that's the only thing that's going to save the postseason.
Well, I think Ohio State took advantage of the controversy and the media narrative between Notre Dame and A&M, and they just slipped right through. And I think they also slipped right through, Fitz, because we all know this committee did not want to see a third matchup between Notre Dame and Clemson.
I asked the question, how many teams should be in the college football playoff? 20% of my audience said that the college football playoff should stay at 4. That is 4 playoff teams, best scenario. 63% of my audience said that 8 is the right number. 63%.
That if you think the group of 5 team has a chance to get into the playoff, it's probably not going to happen under this system.
As of now, the current 4-team playoff system is in play through the year 2025, but you put your ear to the ground, you can hear the stampede of expansion growing. So how do we grow this beyond 4 teams? Matt.
Let's start with, we can go down to the local city park, and I'll bet you somebody that handles youth football could tell you how to do something like that. Well, that's too low of a scale. Let's move it up a little bit. Okay, how about high school from a major state? Let's say Texas, Florida, or California. Let's see how they do it. Okay, let's see. These guys, they win a certain number of games. They have a qualification. Okay, now, boom, they're in the playoffs. But they don't have just 2 or 4 teams or something. Hell no, because they want everybody to have fun and enjoy this playoff system. So they have 16 or 32 or 64 or something like that. Okay, so then they play each other, and everybody's on the edge of their seat going to wait and see if this team's going to beat that team or going to beat the other team. And so then, in the end, there's occasionally a debate. If only this team hadn't lost to that team in this round, then this team could have won the whole thing, and that's perhaps true. But the thing that is indisputable is that at the end of the gauntlet, this team came out on number 1, and there's no debate whatsoever who's state champion. And then you can go to Division 3. Let's see, how do they do it? Oh, they do it the exact same way. Okay, now the suspense is really starting to get thick because, Division 2 might do it differently. No, in fact, they don't. They do it exactly, boys and girls, like Division 3 does. But then they go to 1AA. Okay, at 1AA. How do they do it 1AA? 1AA. I mean, because that's getting closer to us, and we're really sophisticated because we're major 1A. How do they do it in 1AA? You know what? They have a playoff format, and they play it, and they figure it out. And then, okay. Well, they're all below us. Okay, what about above us? The NFL. Let's see here. How did they figure out their champion? Well, they in fact organize a playoff system. And how many teams are in there? A hell of a lot more than 4. And then they sort it all out, and then they have one battle after the next. And at the end, guess what? They sort out a champion, and it's called the Super Bowl. And there's not interest diminished because people are captivated by the playoffs. And the biggest sporting event every year in the history of the world is the Super Bowl. Okay, any questions?
All right, YouTube. Finally, we have a college football dynasty. And I bring to you the National American college football. It'll roll off the tongue after a while. Anyway, how we got it set up is an entirely new division in college football. A bunch of teams got together and say, you know what, we're going to do our own thing, but we're going to do it on a big time level because the NCAA and what make things differently. There's only 32 teams, 2 super mega conferences of 16 teams apiece. You have the Southeast Conference and you have the Northwest Conference, and that's it. That's it. Whoa. And what it is, even though there is a ranking, but the rankings mean nothing. There's no committee. There's none of that. It's you win, you get in. And I think about 6 teams on each side, on each conference, goes to a playoff system. So you finally get a true playoff system. There's nobody left out. If you don't win, you don't get in. And if there's ties, there's tiebreakers. And if you don't win the tiebreaker phase, you don't get in. And there you go. Each playoff game is a bowl game. Wow. I don't believe it. We're taking bowl games and making them into playoff games. Now, keep in mind, I'm a purist. Thank you. Thank you. I never wanted a playoff in the first place because I knew what was going to happen. I was happy with the BCS. Thank you very much. Because how many times have the playoffs proved that the BCS was right? The top 2 teams wind up playing each other in championship and winning. Not every time, but for the most part, pretty much. And people still got what they didn't want. And what they don't want is to see SEC teams continue to win championship games. That's what they didn't want. And they definitely didn't want to see 2 SEC teams playing each other for a championship. That's not what the ones who really push for this thing openly really wanted. And the one thing that they definitely don't want is, no matter how much they fuss and complain, they definitely don't want the what they call the mid-major teams getting into the playoffs. That's just it. I mean, they use it as an argument to get a playoff. Okay, and they argue about it. They say, what about Boise State? And what about TCU? And what about all these other teams? And just when we get a playoff, those teams don't even get considered. And nobody fuss about them. Nobody complain. Oh, they'll say a few words. Well, I think Cincinnati should have got in. But deep down, they saying, no, I'm glad Cincinnati didn't get in. So it is what it is. So now we have a dynasty that takes all that into consideration. Unfortunately, I had to go and find a non-college football game in order to bring you college football. So without further ado, let me introduce the universities and colleges that's going to be part of this new college football dynasty. And let's see. So we got 2 conferences, 2 super mega conferences with the 16 teams apiece. So we got, like I said, we got the Southeast Mega Conference, and like I said, they're gonna be teams, a few teams from the East and a few teams from the South, and then on the other side we got the Northwest, where most of those teams are, well, yeah, Northwest. Everything on the other side of the Mississippi River, I guess. And a couple of Canadian, one Canadian team. We got one Canadian team. And And then both conferences are broken down into regions, if you will, where the 4 teams that are the closest to each other are in a particular region. And the rules are, because we're going to play a lot of games, the rules are you play the 3 teams in your region twice. You get 2 shots at them. That's not fair. Too bad. And then you'll play 4 non-conference games, and then you'll play a number of other games within your conference. So there it is. And like I said, each playoff game, you got, best team go to the playoffs, and it's not voted on by no committee. It's about wins. You gotta win to get in. So we're gonna use a playoff format, but we're gonna refer to them as bowl games because that's what they are. They're bowl games, and you play the different bowl games. You win the first round, then you move on to the next round till we get down to the last 2 teams, and they'll play in the national championship. And we'll be in different locations. And so that's how that'll go. And shoot, man, that's about it. There's nothing else to talk about except, well, I guess we can talk about the actual teams that's gonna be in it. Well, let's see. Well, some of these teams you already know because you saw the maximum video, you would have seen some of the teams. But anyway, also I'm throwing up all the past records from other dynasties into this. Like I keep up with their overall from different dynasties. So anyway, we're gonna start off. We got the Lake Placid Crocodiles from our very first dynasty. During that time, Crocodiles was like 136 wins, 15 losses, 11 bowl game wins, 8 division titles, 7 conference titles, 5 national championships, and 2 Heismans. 2 Heismans. Yeah. They have 2 Heismans. In fact, I guess I should have put down the names of the players that actually won the Heisman. Anyway, 2 different dynasties, Lake Placid and Maximum, but they didn't actually play a game, so. And as you can see the different records through the seasons. Their old coach was Mark Wayne, and you can see his record there. I won't be able to bring none of the old coaches back. So, because all the teams got new coaches, because I won't be able to bring back none of the old players either. I'm just starting fresh, but I'm keeping a team history. And we got Alabama Tech, the Generals. You see their record there. Coach Longford, and got him a couple of bowl wins. And you see the different dynasties that the team played in or was involved in. And even though Max, I didn't actually play a game with the Maximum, but I did try to play a game with Alabama Tech and another team. And since it froze on me, I leave it at a tie on they overall permanent record. And then you have Thunder Bay. Once again, Thunder Bay. Steelers. I did an offline dynasty with all Canadian teams. And I only did one season. They went undefeated. So there you go. And then we got Florida A&T, the Sailfish. If y'all remember the new SEC dynasty, they was the one that won the conference championship. And Then we have the Central Tennessee Owls. As you know, let me see. They was the team that was supposed to play Alabama Tech in that first with the maximum, and it froze. So I got them at a tie. And you see their record. Peter Moore was the head coach. And then we have my Mighty Manatees of Key West State. They're gonna be in. And looking at their overall history. And then we have Louisiana A&M, the Cottonmouths. Oh, the Cottonmouths. They won the Western Division of the new SEC. Didn't get a chance to play in maximum, though. And then we have the Northeast Alabama Kingfish. Mason Rice was the coach there. I think they won a bowl game. Did they win their bowl game? Yeah, they won their bowl game. I'm trying to remember who they beat. They beat Iowa, I think. Was it Iowa? Yeah, they beat Iowa in their bowl game. And then we have Kentucky Christian, the Knights. And then we have Greg Paxson. And so now we got the Shiloh Christian, the Saints. You see they record. They didn't get a chance to go to a bowl game in that SEC Dynasty. All right, now we have Hawaii Tech. This was an offline dynasty that I started, but I never finished. I only got like 3 weeks in, and the Blue Whales got a chance to play 2 games, 2 non-conference games at that, and they was able to win them. So it's count on their overall record. And then you got Gulfport, the Gulfport College, the Warhawks. As you see, they wasn't good enough to get a bowl game. And then I had another offline dynasty that I only did like the first couple of weeks, and then I stopped going. Colorado Springs, the Orange Crush. It was the Big 12 dynasty that they was in with the 2-2 record. And then, you also seen them in the Team Builder series, so I put that in there too. But even though that was just like a practice thing. Then we have the Mississippi Tech Blue Raiders. You remember in the SEC, the new SEC dynasty, 2-10. Disappointment because they was picked to win the conference. But they just couldn't. They couldn't get their offense and their defense to coordinate. Yeah, so then we have the Northeast Texas State, the Rangers, and Red Green. And I'm gonna tell you, I don't know if I'll be able to put any of these coaches back into the dynasty, but with this new format we're gonna be on. Because they made up the coaches. I didn't make up the coaches. So I'm showing the old coaches' record, and then we'll go over who the new coach is going to be for each team. And then, we got Pacifica, the Storm. They were set up for 3 different dynasties, but did not get to play a single game. Because they just didn't get around to playing. Then we got the Montana A&M, the Mustangs, who I was going to start a Mountain West, but I didn't get around to it. But they were set up for it. And then you got the Iowa A&M, the Leghorns. Leghorns. And as you see, they was in that Big 8 dynasty, and they was 0-2. And then we have the Iowa Tech, their rivals, the Rain Warriors, and they was 0-2. But I just never finished that Big 8 dynasty. And then we have Boston State, the Bats. And then we have the Delaware A&M, the Pigeons. And you remember seeing them in the Team Builder Dynasty. And then we have Delaware Tech, the Quails. Quails. And now we have one that well, first seen him in the Max video, but the South Dakota A&M Saddam. The Flying Squirrels, man. The Flying Squirrels. I like them. I like how they came out. But and then you got the Fairbanks University, the Unicorns. And they was in a team builder. And then, oh man, how you said Juna State, the Penguins, also from Alaska, like Fairbanks. And so those are all the teams that I've been working with. They was either in the Lake Plastic Dynasty or the Alabama Tech Dynasty, or they was gonna be in the Max Dynasty, or they was on Team Builder, or they was in the Big 8 Dynasty, or the Mountain West Pacific Dynasty, or the new SEC Dynasty. So I just took all their collective records and I, just keeping up with it, just for the heck of it. And so also I had to come up with some new teams to be in this dynasty, which is known as the National American College Football Dynasty. Wow. Like you said, sooner or later it'll roll off the tongue. But anyway, first of all, we got Lakeville University, which is located in Minnesota. And we had the leopard frogs. Hey, I wanted something different. So leopard frogs. And then we have East Nebraska, the Grizzlies. Oh, the Grizzlies. And then we have Kansas Tech. Kansas Tech was the last team I came up with, and I didn't have, I didn't know what to call them. I did not know what to call them. So I just named them the Farmers. I named them the Farmers. And then we have Roswell College, the Xenos, or the Xenomorphs, but I call them the Xenos. The main thing is, I had to come up with some new teams, and as you know, they all gonna be in the Northwest. Minnesota team, Nebraska, Wisconsin, Kansas, and New Mexico. Roswell. Yeah, man, because I went with Xenomorph. But anyway, my biggest headache with all this was I had to compromise on the logos, because there was no way I can only use the logos that the game gave me. And I had to compromise, and that's what I did. So those are the logos that I used. So hey, like I said, I've been waiting, trying to get a college dynasty going again. I hated that I wasn't able to finish the one that I started, but hey, I got locked out. So anyway, college football is back. I hope you enjoy it. Yeah, tell me which teams that you might be rooting for. You'll be seeing some of the rosters as we go, and we just go from there. So hey, like I said, I hope you enjoyed the National American College Football, and we'll see you in the coming videos. Until then, you have a good one, and we'll catch you later.